Good afternoon. On behalf of the cast and production crew of The Example and LU TV Productions, they will talk about us, the Charlton-Pollard Story. I humbly stand before you as these award-winning films are accepted into the repository at the Tyrrell Historical Library. To the staff of this historical entity, I am honored to see that you understand the importance of this work. Your willingness to preserve stories inspired by the 1943 Beaumont race riot and the oldest Black neighborhood in Beaumont for citizens and for future generations is monumental. To the Lamar University Department of Communication and Media, the students, staff, faculty, and alumni are the genesis of this work. The talented content creators and filmmakers that have walked the halls of this department have and are continuing to create meaningful and life-changing work. Swiss-American psychiatrist Elizabeth Kübler-Ross states there are only two emotions, love and fear. All positive emotions come from love, and all negative emotions come from fear. To paraphrase her, love and fear cannot exist in the same place. Since reading the line, there were race riots in Detroit, Los Angeles, and Beaumont in 1943. I have experienced love, fear, and their derivatives. In 2003, there was an excitement in talking with my producing partner, Wyatt Cagle, about creating a documentary about this little-known piece of Texas history. Reality clearly came into focus when we realized individuals, both Black and white, were not comfortable talking about the race riot. Fortunately, an older gentleman agreed to speak with us. With the production crew, we went into the interviewee's home. We began setting up the cameras and lights, and then we heard the words, "Get out." Obeying his orders, of course, we left. Reality came into focus that 60 years after this event, there was still fear in sharing the story. Also, the dean of the College of Fine Arts and Communication at that time was contacted by community members asking why I was asking about the riot. After interviewing only 7 people, plus more interesting inquiries, we lost steam. I was disappointed. My colleagues and I fell deeper in love with the craft of filmmaking and storytelling. Our success with projects and film festivals led us back to the race riot in 2012. With the joy that my fellow producers, Wyatt Cagle and Kenneth Dupuy, and their families were feeling at the time on the brink of parenthood, they wanted to tell a story about fatherhood. I reflected on my father's influence on my life. Adding that research from the race riot, I wrote a historical fiction short film titled The Example. There's a happiness to starting a new project. It's one of the greatest moments. Striving to tell a story about commonality, history, and legacy was our goal. With there being 2 sides to every story, again, people questioned, why are you bringing this up? Our intent was never to be controversial, but to shed light on history, understand why it happened, and what could be learned. Again, leading with love. In the midst of pre-production, when events like Ferguson, Baltimore, and Tamir Rice in Cleveland flooded the news, we, a person of a darker hue, with my 2 colleagues, individuals of a lighter hue, we were mindful in telling a story that looked as if we were not trying to sensationalize this moment in America. As we gained local media attention during production in 2015, oh, the internet, the sweet, sweet internet. Remarks on a news story about The Example garnered comments such as, "This movie is going to start a race war." Why are we letting those Hollywood types come in and do this. The only wood we are close to being associated with is a big thicket, and possibly the piney woods, maybe. Plus, we received our skill set in filmmaking from the institution on MLK Parkway and Highway 69. People were afraid. In attempts to fundraise for this project, I spoke to a prominent community member. The project was receiving fiscal sponsorship, which means anyone who donated would receive a tax write-off. I stated to this person, if you give me $1 right now, that lets me know that you see us and what we're trying to do. I never received that dollar. Disappointed? Yes. Not seen? Yes. But we led with love, the love of storytelling, and the love for wanting to leave a legacy that was greater than us. It was because of a common question that has been prevalent in the over 2 decades of working in the history and documentary medium: who your people? Now, if you're not familiar with this Southeast Texas colloquialism, it translates to, who are your people? No matter if you're black, white, or any race, people want to know who are you connected to and if they can trust you. Who are these people asking about the race riot? Who are these people asking about the oldest black neighborhood in Beaumont? Fellow producer Jonathan Tippett and I were tasked with creating a documentary about the Charlton-Pollard neighborhood. ExxonMobil brought this project to the Department of Communication and Media with funds to assist students in getting hands-on experience and be paid. Jonathan and I researched, drove around the neighborhood, and we were not able to find an in into the community. Again, I'm from Cleveland, Texas, not of Beaumont. And Jonathan is of a lighter hue. But when you lead with love, you attract. Conversations with the neighborhood association and local historians who heard about the project slowly began to yield results. A major revelation was meeting 1961 Charlton-Pollard High School graduate Lynn Simon. Simon saw us. He saw the love we had for storytelling and trusted us with telling this story. Simon's name, his words, they were the key in opening the floodgates to the history of the South End. No, you don't know my people, but we know Simon. And Simon says, share the legacy of this beloved community. And they did. They trusted us. Leading with love gave this student production crew a chance to pursue their craft of filmmaking and be paid. The unease on the side of the students and interviewees quickly vanished once the moving tales of hardship, heartache, triumph, and success were shared. Those connected to the South End felt seen. And this group of staff and students from Lamar University were passionate about telling their history. The students connected with the interviewees, having a reverence for what they experienced, how they survived, and how they thrived. The tears that you see in the documentary, those tears were mirrored in the student production crew on set. This is 2 generations separated by many decades, in a situation where you did not think they would connect, but they bonded. That is the power of art. That is the power of creativity. That's the power of filmmaking. This is how history is passed down from one generation to another. Knowledge about how this community was born on the cornerstone of education is able to live on. thriving businesses and nightlife that featured artists such as James Brown and many other artists on the Chitlin circuit can now spark conversations about the past. The rivalry between Charlton-Pollard and Hebert High School, that story that stirs up so much passion has inspired others to tell their stories about the place they call home. Leading with Love allowed the example, and they will talk about the Charlton-Pollard Story, to world premieres at the historic Jefferson Theater to crowds of over 350 people in 2016 and 2022. The historical fiction short film about the 1943 Beaumont race riot was accepted into over 35 film festivals across the United States and Canada. The project has received distribution from or has played on platforms such as Amazon Video, IndieFlix, Quelly TV, DirecTV, and many more. They will talk about us. The Charlton-Pollard Story was named Best Documentary and or won first place at the Urban Media Makers Film Festival in Atlanta, the Boomtown Film and Music Festival, the Gulf Coast Film and Video Festival, and the Press Club of Southeast Texas. This project has screened at several film festivals nationally and internationally in Paris, France. Yet and still, the notion of fear and insecurity comes with accomplishments. People not pleased that universities in various disciplines invited me to talk about the work questioned the value of these visits to the department. With the short film and documentary in a presentation titled Beaumont's Black History in Moving Pictures, the faculty, students, staff, and alumni of the Lamar University Department of Communication and Media has given insight into the lives of African Americans in Southeast Texas. Beaumont's Black History in Moving Pictures has screened at Lamar, Prairie View A&M, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston State, Texas State, Rice, and Louisiana State Universities, and the University of Central Oklahoma. This project was added to the collection at the Black Film and Cinema Archive at Indiana University. The Black Film Center and Archive is the only repository in the world that is wholly dedicated to the collecting, preserving, and making available historically and culturally significant films about Black people. To answer those individuals, leading with love, this work has given dreamers interested in filmmaking and telling stories opportunities to see that it is possible to be successful in their craft in Southeast Texas. This work has taken the name of Lamar University and the Department of Communication and Media in places and discussions that they've never seen or heard before. This short film and documentary has shed light on history that should not be forgotten. It has caused a people, a community to be seen. And their story has inspired people across the globe. The history being shared inspired individuals in this community to see and understand their value. There are plans to create an African American History Museum in Southeast Texas. This work has me humbly and graciously standing in front of you today, as this work is being accepted to the Tyrrell Historical Library 81 years later on the same streets where the 1943 Beaumont race riot took place. With the unanimous blessing of the Historic Landmark Commission, Beaumont City Council, and possibly future approval from the Texas Historical Commission, we are a block away from the location of a historic state marker for the 1943 Beaumont race riot. There are people that never saw the vision, but love understood the vision. There are only two emotions, love and fear. All positive emotions come from love. All negative emotions come from fear. I guarantee you, in this journey, I've experienced a great deal of those emotions. Because of this work that is going into the repository, I know they will talk about us. This moment, the production crews of these projects, the people, the history, and I hope, love. Thank you. So I guess I am handing both of these to you.
Very good.